So this question is asking us to draw a histogram, and therefore we should be thinking about, well, histograms are data that's plotted in unequal groups, and this scale is always called the frequency density, and then this will be whatever the units are for the variable we're dealing with. Now we should realise that histograms, they have a formula to use, so we should remember to always add onto the side of the table the words frequency density, and the formula for the frequency density is always the frequency divided by the class width, so in other words how wide the interval is. So in this case the frequency was 8 and the class width went from 0 to a half, so we're dividing by a half to give us an answer of 16. For this interval we've got 7 things happening between a half and 1, and the interval width is also a half, because I'm going from half to 1, it's like adding a half, it's going to be 14. This interval we've got a frequency of 11 and the width of it is 1, so that's going to be 11. And then for this interval we've got a frequency of 9 and we've got a width of 2, so 4.5. So those are the frequency densities we need to plot on our axes using a sensible scale. So they haven't given us a scale to use, so we need to choose one, and we can see from the numbers we've got to plot we've got to get up to 16. So it seems logical with this type of graph here, if we were drawing it, that would go up in whole ones. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. So because of the numbers we've got for the question, we know the biggest frequency density we've got to plot is 16, then we'll make sure our scale can go to 16. And the first group that we have to plot is from 0 to a half, and it has to go at 16. So again, you should use your ruler, guys. Just taking a quick example. So we went from 0 to a half and got 16. Now the next one was a frequency density of 14, and it went from a half to 1. So a half to 1 up to 14. The next interval went from 1 to 2, and going from 1 to 2 we can see that we've got to go up to a frequency density of 11. We're going from 1 to 2, and then 2 to 4 was the last group, went from 2 to 4, and the frequency density was 4.5. So again, we've just got to be careful on our scale that 4.5 would be here. It's going from 2 to 4. Again, be careful because the bar ends at 4, so I've got to be careful that the bar ends at 4 from 2 to 4. Don't make the mistake of going across the whole graph because we stop at 4 because of the way the interval was. And that's your histogram. I mean, I always advise you, with the papers being photocopied nowadays onto a computer for marking, then just do a little bit of shading to show what you want as your answer. So the key thing is histograms, frequency density, calculate the frequency density by using the frequency divided by the class width, and then you can draw the histogram.